welcome to Your Riding Success Tash TV, episode 3. I got a great question, let me just make sure I remember it. It was something about they're working with their horse and there's shoulder in and we've got laterals and everything like that going, but they're feeling that their horse is going a little bit on the forehand and not using his hind legs. So she wanted some exercises or things that she can do to actually get him sitting up and driving more from behind. So cool, interesting question. So when I think about the horse carrying weight behind, or is he on the forehand, or is he too light in front, or is he too heavy in front, the first thing I like to think about is now you guys might not have ever had the chance, but when I was young, God, that's fun to say, when I was young, but when I was young, seriously, in our kitchen we didn't have electronic scales. We had these really old scales, which is like a bar and 2 bowls in each of the things, and then we had weights, and then what we would have to do is put the weights in the middle. Let's say we wanted 80 grams of flour or something, and then we would have to put flour in, and if we put too much then it would go down too heavy, so we'd have to take flour out, and we'd have to keep testing and measuring and keep putting flour in or taking it out until you could balance the 80 grams that you had on one side with the 80 grams of flour on the other side, and that's how you cooked. Which is hence probably why I don't cook, because it was just all too confusing with maths and weights, and I could never bloody get it right, and I'd always overcorrect, so you were thinking, because you'd start off with the weights being heavy and no flour, so you'd put in a whole thing of flour, and this would get too heavy, and this would be up. And then the aim was, if you were patient and calm, which was not my strong point when I was 8 or 10 years old, was to take out little bit by little bit flour, so you would start to bring this up and this down, so it would then be even. But of course I was a little bit rash and a little bit quick and a little bit, come on, let's just get this done. So I'd take out too much and it would go this way, and I'd put too much in and it would go this way. So you'd be doing this, and your point was to try and get it in balance like this. Kind of the same in riding. And I know you're thinking, come on Tash, stop with the cooking analogies. But it's kind of true. So when you're riding, obviously if you use too much leg, like if you've got your horse running and it's just going, yeah, because you're trying to create energy and you're trying to create, the hind legs moving, but all you're doing is energy and hind legs and forward, you've got an unbalanced thing. You've got way too much forward, and they are going to just be doing chook runs, running on the forehand and just going too fast and running. On the other hand, if you go, no, I want you to collect, and you're using a lot of hand and a lot of seat, a lot of hand and a lot of seat, and you're not using any leg, you're going to be unbalanced the other way, and this is going to fly up and this is going to fly down. So your aim when you're riding the horses is to go, okay, I want to use a little bit of leg and a little bit of hand, so I can kind of get the horse balanced in that perfect balance that he can use himself. So he can use his hind legs and he can use his body, and he's coming through and he's soft over his back, and when they're really through and really there, you've got this beautiful connection. You still have a connection, but it's very light and it's very easy. People say to me, how do you know when your horse is through, or how do you know when you've got it? I'm like, you'll know, because you don't have to do anything. And it really is. I shouldn't say, please don't take that the wrong way. It's not like you're sitting on the couch literally doing nothing. You are busy, and you're basically, what your job is, once you've got them and once you feel that beautiful feeling and it's like, wow, yeah, I've got them, you're just doing tiny little adjustments. So tiny little half vaults and tiny little legs and tiny little adjustments to keep them in that equilibrium, to keep them in that balance. But maybe to get them into that balance, you might be doing a bit more. When I get on my horses, there's not much respect for the leg and not much, energy happening. Probably if you get on a 2-year-old thoroughbred off the track, I'm guessing there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of forward going on. So when you get on a horse, you might be, overly weighted in one way or another. So you're going to use a lot of the opposite force. I hate that word force. The opposite thing. So if you're on a thoroughbred off the track that's going, yeah, we're going forward, it's like, cool, half halt, hello, come back. Whereas on a horse like mine, who's, going, yeah, walking's good, and let's not go too energetic today, kind of like me at the gym, let's just calm down, we don't need to use everything we've got. then you're using your legs and you go, come on, get up, get into my hand, get forward out through the neck, let's get to work. But then when you've got that into that equilibrium, you can't keep doing that. So I think the biggest takeaway, firstly, when you're riding, is to realize that you'll always be doing something different. If you're using a lot of legs in the first 5 minutes, it doesn't mean you'll be using a lot of legs at minute 18. If you're using a lot of half halts in minute 1, it doesn't mean you're going to be using a lot of half halts in minute 20. And just be constantly searching for that equilibrium, constantly searching for that balance. And think back to my story about the flour and just go, okay, do we need a little bit more flour or do we need a little bit less? And try not to do what I did and overreact and just go, oh, he's running, halt, and then, and now he's not going, kick. You just want to start going, okay, little bit by little bit, how can I get him into this balance and into this equilibrium? So that's the first bit about, how to get them through and all that. I think the question was, what exercises or what specific things can you do to actually get them engaged behind and actually working the hind legs? And there is so much, and it's going to be different for every horse. So some of the things I've used and done is transitions. So little transitions, so you can just have, you're in trot and it's little trot, big trot, little trot, big trot, depending where you are in your training. It might be collected trot, it might be extended trot, it might be passage to extended trot, or if you're on a young horse, it's, they don't have lengthened strides yet either, just, if you're on a green broken, so it's just a little bit smaller trot, a little bit bigger trot, a little bit smaller trot, a little bit bigger trot. Same in the canter, big canter, little canter, extended canter, collected canter, canter on the spot, explode into big canter depending where you are in your training. I don't like to play with the walk too much. I like my walk, the walk is, you just want to keep that walk safe, so I don't do too much in the walk in regards to transitions, but definitely transitions within, so walk, trot, trot, walk. You can count, you can go, okay, 5 steps trot, 2 steps walk, 5 steps trot, 2 steps walk, or you can do 5 steps walk, 2 steps trot, 5 steps walk, 2 steps trot. So basically, as soon as you've trotted, you're asking for walk. It just really tunes them up, and because a lot of horses, when they go into trot, they go, okay, now we're in trot. No, it might change. Maybe walk, maybe canter. Trot, canter, canter, trot, walk, canter, canter, walk, halt, canter, canter, halt, trot, halt. There are so many different ways you can play with your transitions and different movements through the gaits, and that obviously gets the horse sitting because he's got to use his hind legs, and to me, more listening to you, because sometimes they listen to their own radio and they're listening to their own thing going on about okay, now I'm just going to trot a circle. They think that's what we're doing. So if we go, now halt, now canter, now trot, now walk, now halt, they're like, whoa, what are we doing? It's like, good, let's just focus on me, because you don't need to know what we're doing. Just listen to me and we'll be fine. So it gets them clued in, gets them listening. A lot of people I know love serpentines. So, you can have a 3-loop serpentine, 4-loop serpentine, 5-loop serpentine, 6-loop serpentine. Try saying that quickly. But a 6-loop serpentine. So in a 60-metre arena, that's 10 metres each loop. You can do your 10-metre circles, you can do your 10-metre half circles, you can do 15-metre circles. Another cool exercise is on a 20-metre circle spiralling in. So 20-metre circle, you stay in the same gait, but you bring the horse in to 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, and then leg yield out and go back 6, 10, 12. God, you're testing me with my maths again. Going out. I love lateral work, so shoulder in, down the long side, shoulder in on the circle. I also like sometimes playing with the flexion, so like a shoulder in up to the inside on the circle and then a shoulder into the outside on the circle, where you basically change your outside rein. So if I'm going this way, this is my outside rein. God, now you're testing me, lefts and rights. Yep, that's my right hand. And then I'll go with my outside rein being my left hand, even though my outside rein is my inside rein. Don't worry, it sounds confusing, but when you do it, it's easy. What else? That's probably the biggest things. The biggest things I use is the transitions, probably just within the gaits, and my shoulder in exercises. So, and yeah, just always working towards, I want to feel that balance, I want to feel, my biggest thing is I want to feel that the horse is responsive to me. So I don't want to have to use big aids. I want to know if I use a light half halt that he comes back, and uses his hind legs, and if I use a little bit of leg, he explodes out. So in that regard, the transitions are really good because they build the strength in the hind legs, and also teach him, yeah, I've got to listen. When I ask for if I'm doing big trot, little trot, big trot. If I say I want little trot, it comes to me straight away. And when I say I want big trot, out he goes. It's not 15, 20 strides and him going, oh, okay, maybe I will one day. It's, I asked, I got a reaction. Now I asked, I got a reaction. So, trust that makes sense. Have a really, really super Friday. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye.